Hey guys, Ken here from CMX Powersports. I had a couple of requests in the last few days just to expand on our previous video, which I think there'll probably be a link in on this video if you want to watch the full review. Some people asked me what's under the hood of the U10 Highland Pro by CFMOTO. It's pretty fairly simple. I pulled the hood off here today. I apologize, this unit is a little bit dirty. As you can see, I got my boots on. I was actually outside driving around getting some more seat time and some other things. But under the hood of the U10 Highland Pro, really what we have is our brake fluid reservoir, easy access to our coolant reservoir. We have our winch block. We have a couple of plugs here that I'm not quite sure yet what they're for. I think additional accessories, as well as your accessory block, completely easily accessible for the expansion of light bars and things like that. And then there is also a stock plug on that bus bar, and I'm thinking that that stock plug is going to be for something that is yet to be released because it's still such a very new model for us here. We're still waiting on some things to come out. Another thing that I wanted to address was there'd been a couple of questions on the main video relating to what do you do if the battery's dead, because it's a push button shift out of park, shift into park. It's a push button electronic emergency brake in it. So the answer is very simple. You can see inside the cab here, and you could see it on the first video where I mentioned how easy to access that battery is for the power for the whole unit. The reason that the battery is placed so easily accessible is exactly for that reason. If you're somewhere and your battery decides to go kaput, all you need to do is hook you can get those mini battery pack chargers. I carry them on my machine. I know a lot of people that do. You just hook it up to the battery, push the button, and you're out of park. So that is the way that everything's been explained to me, and after reviewing the manual, they suggest that you have a little backup like that whenever you're riding, wherever you're riding, just in case. The other side of things that I've seen with that, especially you have other people with you, I've actually seen ATV booster cables. They're like mini car booster cables. The hope is that people are, when these are in storage, obviously maintaining their battery on a battery tender or something of that sort and keeping their batteries up. The likelihood of the battery going in this, I would say, is probably no more likely than your new half-ton that's got push button shifting. And in that case, you would have to get a boost from another vehicle. So this is keeping with that same automotive style of everything. Do I think it's great? I think it's as great as my truck is. Do I think that I'd like to have, you know, maybe some kind of a bypass that I could do? I think that would be great. But the reality is when you're electronic shifting inside of a transmission, there's not a lot you can do on the outside of the transmission to make things happen. So that's my opinion. I hope that's all correct, but what is correct is that if your battery fails, you will need to put a booster pack on it or grab a different battery to be able to operate the things like coming out of park and the electronic park brake. One thing I want to mention on that I mentioned in the first video is that, and the reason that I say it's a little more unlikely for this thing to have a battery failure is because this is equipped with an alternator, not a stator. So the battery does recover a lot more quickly in the event that, you know, the battery charge gets low because you're using maybe your plow a lot or whatever. The output of the alternator is going to be far more than a stator would be. So the recovery time is going to be a lot faster. Again, tip from Ken, I always say if your unit's in long-term storage, a month, 2 months, make sure you got a battery tender on it. Save yourself money down the road. Kind of the same deal as with trucks. I know personally if my trucks are going to sit all winter, I've got a battery tender on them in my driveway. So that's to address that part of it. Next, we're going to hop in the cab and I'm going to run through some stuff on the screen because that was also requested. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so here we are in the cab of the CFMOTO U10 Highland Pro. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the dash. I had some requests to go through the dash a little bit and just kind of show people what it looks like. So that's the purpose of this little incremental video. So that's what we're going to do right now. So at the moment, I've just got the dash on the GPS screen. I wanted to show you guys some cool things about this screen, and then I'll show you the main dashboard, and then I'll show you some stuff in settings and some things that are kind of cool. So in this screen, you can see you have just the GPS. It is a 7-inch touchscreen. Sorry, my hands are cold. So you can access a lot of stuff from here. Obviously, if I come over, you guys can see what this is. This is your trip 1 and trip 2. So you're measuring how long you drove, how far you drove, and what your total run time is. In this other screen here, you can see some cool stuff. I mean, if you got the littles, oops, sorry, I waited too long. If you got the littles, guys, you can actually speed limit things on this side-by-side, or if it's out working and you don't want your employee to drive it too fast, you can actually put a speed limit on it. Sorry guys, it's timing out because I'm talking too much. You also have Apple CarPlay, which I think most people on the market out there know what Apple CarPlay is. Basically, it shows everything that's compatible with the screen on the screen of the side-by-side. I have a similar screen in my CFMOTO, and I can tell you the Apple CarPlay works really cool. You can access media from here, which is just things like music and whatever if you're going to do Bluetooth. The CFMOTO Ride app is pre-installed on the screen. This will show you all sorts of things. It will show you things like if your vehicle is parked in a stationary mode in your garage and you're not home, somebody breaks into your garage and starts trying to mess with your side-by-side, it'll give you a vibration reminder. It will also tell you if your ECU and all your things are up to date. If it does need an update, it'll do it as soon as you're on your app. It shows you past drives. It will show you past trails that you've taken. It will show you just a plethora of stuff just in that app if you put it on the cell phone, which I think is really cool. This is another one that I thought was kind of neat. This is going to be more for trail riding guys, but it could work for guys, say like on rail beds that are working. This is called the G-Force app, and all it is this little dot in the middle is you. If you're driving on extreme angles, it will show you what angle you're on, front and back. It will also warn you when you get into tip mode. The other thing about this is when you're driving at high altitudes in the mountains or whatever, it will tell you actually how high you are, which I thought was kind of cool because a lot of times we're guessing when we're trail riding and whatever else. The membership center, I haven't played with that yet too much. Vehicle diagnostics, I mean, I kind of touched on that with the CFMOTO app, but this is a real quick way to do it without your phone. If this vehicle had any DTCs, which are basically, it's a fancy way of saying trouble codes. So if you had anything going on with your check engine light or anything like that, this screen will show you what trouble code you have, so that when you call your dealer to make an appointment, you can say, hey, it's Ken, my U10 has P0303 code, and it's showing up on my screen under current DTCs, and my check engine light is on. It's not that the definition is going to help the end user very much, but it can help the service department kind of get some pre-thoughts as to what's going on, because we can pre-look up the code, find out what the definitions are and what that relates to, what it affects. We can just be a little bit more proactive on a dealership level. So I thought that was pretty cool that they included that. Obviously, we're used to seeing stuff like this. We're used to seeing phone. We're used to seeing that. So I'm going to show you another part of this screen that I kind of really liked. I thought it was very vehicle-ish. And then I'm going to show you the main dashboard after I show you this. So obviously in here, you've got all of your usual settings. You've got your sound. There's an EQ in there. You can set volume levels, maxes, minimums. You can do all that sort of stuff. The one that I thought was kind of cool is that on the display here, you can actually go in and you guys saw the GPS screen, but if you wanted to have, you wanted to know your speeds and your fuel levels and everything else like that while you're out trail riding, you just go on to style 1 here. So it'll pop up and populate in a second. So we went to split screen. Now in here, we can pop and choose what we're going to show beside our main instrument cluster. And by main, I mean it's going to show you what mode you're in. It's going to show you if your front and rear diffs are locked or unlocked. It's going to show you your fuel level, headlights, bright, dim. It's going to show you all this stuff. All the things that you're used to seeing kind of on your main screen, which is I'm going to show you here in a second. But from this screen, you can access your music. When you're hooked up with Bluetooth, it's the same as your car stereo. It's going to show you your album art. It's going to show you all your cool stuff. In the phone mode, exactly the same as new vehicles. Again, you connect your phone, you can make your calls from here, you can talk. The sound from those conversations will come through the speakers in the unit. So there's no chance of you not hearing what's going on. I want to touch on another point. There was a fella that asked on the last video if I can do a test ride to show you guys how quiet it is in the cab. I absolutely can. It's some minus 40 out today, and I've been super busy at the store just running the business. That video will be coming, but as I stated before, I can tell you we used a dB tester and we tested it against what is deemed the quietest cab on the market. We have one in our showroom. This unit was 5 decibels quieter than that unit driving at full out, and at idle it was 10 decibels quieter in the cab. I'll give you a hint. It's a big name in power sports. They just released an awesome new HVAC unit, but I don't like mentioning other names and stuff like that when we're doing this. So not that that other unit suffers at all. It doesn't. It's completely awesome, but I was totally surprised at how quiet this cab is inside. So getting back to the unit, you can see the dash here again. There's a bunch of little things on the nav. It's kind of standard. You can track, you can add waypoints, you can save tracks, which for me I think is really cool. I'm used to doing that on my trail maps. I guess we'll see as time goes by if I be able to use this particular GPS for trail mapping, or if I'm going to be just switching over to Apple CarPlay and using my trail maps that are on there. So I just wanted to go back now to the main screen and show you what the main hub, if you want to have just your dashboard, you don't need all the bells and whistles of your phone or your music or your album art or nav up. If you're just bombing around and you want to have just your regular vehicle type dashboard, you simply push the button in the middle of this knob here, which is also incidentally your volume button, and that will show you everything that's going on here. So you've got RPM up top, you've got the gear that you're in, your engine temperature, your battery output voltage, total kilometers, you've got your fuel level, what operation your lights are in, and you've also got whether your front and rear diffs are locked. As previously mentioned, you can unlock and lock those separately, front and rear, which I also thought was, again, pretty cool. So I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can show you on the screen here. Obviously you see your times and all your things like that. I think that kind of is a pretty good run through of the screen from what I've played with so far. I mean, I could go through settings and I could show you guys that you can change your wallpaper and you can change the brightness and the dimness, and you can make it all automatic. But really, when you think about this interactive dashboard on this unit, think about it the same way that you would think about the new higher end vehicles and how functional those dashes are. This one would be very close, if not the same as most vehicles that are coming out right now, and maybe with a couple little extra things that you don't generally see on a truck or a car, because this is a side-by-side after all. I think that pretty much would wrap up the screen for me, you guys. If you have any questions on that, or there's anything specifically that you want to see, say in the settings menu, let me know. I'll do my best to run through it. My biggest problem is usually just getting time to go through this stuff. But as you can see, very easy to navigate, very easy to use. You can obviously, you can set your radio and your phone volumes and everything. Like I said, just like a car or a truck, you can even go into your graphic equalizer and your stereo and increase the bass, lessen it, whatever you want to do. But like I said, it's just very, very intuitive and easy to use. So very happy with the way that the screen is, and it does work really well. Now that my hands are warmed up, I think you guys can see that they're working a little better on the screen. So again, smash the like button, hit the subscribe, give me comments. It keeps me fairly busy answering it, but I don't mind at all. I'm here for information. So until next time, you guys take care, and we'll see you later. Hey guys, just finished up the run through of the screen. Hopefully it was good enough for everybody. I'm a little raspy because I do have a cold today. But I did forget to mention one thing. I forgot to answer one more question. There's been multiple comments on the first video regarding the 6-seater U10. Is it coming? Is it going to be available? Absolutely. We've got them ordered and they are on the way. The other question was, are they available in the States? Not that I know of. I know that we in Canada were the first ones to get these. I also know that yesterday I looked on CFMOTO USA's site, which I don't have a lot to do with CFMOTO USA, but they're not listed on there. So I feel like the pricing and everything that's going to happen for the US is a little bit speculative at this point. So I'm not going to comment on that stuff, but I can tell you that in Canada, this unit is thousands and thousands of dollars less than the competition, even our closest competition that we carry at the store. So I would think that that's going to mirror into the US as well. So that's it for today, guys. This is Ken checking out. We'll see you next time. Take care.